Here by Scott Luton with Supply Chain. Now, welcome to this episode of Whiteboard Wisdom, where we're going to be featuring my friend, outstanding practitioner and leader, Marcia Williams, as she dives into 5 customer supply chain metrics that supply chain pros you got to master. Hey, do you know OTIF? Do you know Net Promoter Score? Do you know the order fill rate and how to calculate all these and more? If you don't, tune in and let us know what you think. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Scott Luton and special guest co-host Marcia Williams with you here today. Welcome to the latest edition of Whiteboard Wisdom here on Supply Chain Now. Marcia, how are you doing today?
Great, Scott. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, hey, you hit a home run last time as we dove into inventory management metrics that folks got to know. And so today, got another great episode teed up here today, especially for our community on YouTube. We're going to be featuring a practical and effective discussion on 5 customer supply chain metrics that every supply chain professional has got to master. So as y'all know, we're an industry full of metrics and data and acronyms. Today's 5 metrics that we'll be covering are absolutely on a short list of items that every supply chain pro, well, you just got to know. Now, before we move forward, a couple things. I think, first off, federal regulations require me to ask you to like and comment on this episode. And if you enjoy the conversation, hey, share it with a friend. They'll be glad you did. Sharing is caring, right, Marcia? Sharing is caring.
That's right.
And speaking of Marcia, let me introduce her background, because I'll tell you, we've got quite a proven practitioner and leader here. So Marcia Williams serves as a managing partner at USM Supply Chain. She's got 18 years of supply chain management experience, particularly with deep expertise in optimizing supply chain finance planning at a variety of mid-sized and large companies for greater profitability and improved cash flows. Now, Marcia holds an MBA from Michigan State University. Go Spartans, right?
Exactly.
I don't want to get the wrong mascot. The proud Michigan State University Spartan. She's also a Forbes Council contributor, a published author, and a recent TEDx talk speaker. So with all that said, let's welcome in officially Marcia Williams to the show. Marcia, again, great to have you back with us. It's been too long, my friend.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's always a pleasure to be here. So I'm looking forward to talking about these key metrics.
We are too. And again, these 5 customer supply chain metrics that every supply chain pro has got to master. So Marcia, where are we starting here today?
We cannot start in a different way. We are going to start with OTIF. That is the key metric in supply chain. It means on time in full. So it's fundamental. And the calculation is the number of on-time in full orders delivered divided by the total number of orders. Then we multiply by 100 to get the percentage. So this is a key metric, and you may have heard about DIFOT. That is the same, it's just the difference is in the order. It means in full, on time.
Love it. Now, Marcia, I've seen it reported that some of the world's largest retailers have moved their standard OTIF targets for their suppliers from 75% to, in some cases, 98% in recent years. Have you seen the same?
Yes, because as we know, inventory is a key challenge in retail. Today, they have 23% up than what they used to have. So inventory management for retail is vital.
All right. So, folks, the first one, on time in full, OTIF, you may hear folks say from time to time. Where are we going with number 2, Marcia?
Number 2 is another great metric, because with OTIF, yes, we know if we are meeting the customer requirement, but we are not sure about their satisfaction, if they loved the experience. So that's why we need another metric. And the metric here is Net Promoter Score. That the calculation is the number of promoter scores divided by the total number of respondents minus the number of detractor scores divided again by the total number of respondents. So here we actually understand the customer. And Scott, I watched an episode that you talk about this metric with L'Oreal, and they mentioned that is the key metric that they track.
It really is. In fact, did you know, folks out there, since being introduced in 2003, the Net Promoter Score, NPS, you may hear folks refer to the acronym, now more than 2/3 of the Fortune 1000 use NPS, Marcia. How about that, including the great folks at L'Oreal? All right, 2 down, 3 more to go. I think with number 3, where are we going next, Marcia?
Perfect order. And this one is a very demanding metric, but we can see everything. We track all the aspects. To get a perfect order, we need to get 7 aspects right per the APICS dictionary. So the 7 aspects that they call them 7 R's are the right product, the right quantity, the right time based on the customer requirement, the right condition, the right place, the right customer, and the right cost. All of that plus the right documentation. That is when we get a perfect order.
Love it. Now, Vince Lombardi, the Hall of Fame NFL football coach, said one time, quote, "Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence." Well, I would say we might have a bone to pick with Mr. Lombardi, because I bet he's never shipped any orders back in his heyday. So, all right. So the perfect order is number 3. Good stuff. Where are we going with our 4th metric here today, Marcia?
The next one that we have is the order fill rate. And sometimes it's confusing with other metrics and the concept. But what it matters is the ability of the company to be able to deliver, to ship with the stock that they have available. That stock, the on-hand stock, the stock that they have physically without getting into back orders or delays. So that's why this metric is critical, because it also helps to improve the internal operations. And the calculation is the number of orders fulfilled immediately with the stock on hand divided by the total number of orders.
Outstanding. And as we start to wrap with our 5th metric, so it's a related metric. Where are we going with the 5th metric here today?
The 5th metric, as you said, Scott, is related to the previous one, to the fill rate, because in this case, what we are going to track is the time. So that's why we are seeing now the customer order fulfillment time. That is we need to adapt, because it's the sum of different cycle times, like to source, to order, transform, because it can be manufacturing or also assembly. We can assemble a kit, for example, for e-commerce companies, and also return, of course, fulfill, right? And return. So we add up all the different cycles and we get to the customer order fulfillment time that then we divided by the total number of orders delivered.
Really appreciate these practical explanations of these 5 key metrics. On this one here, on customer order fulfillment time, Amazon, I'll tell you what, has greatly changed customer expectations and supply chain performance expectations. If you had to pick one metric, this might be the one that really speaks to the Amazon effect. Would you agree, Marcia?
Yes. Speed, it is Amazon, through that speed that it has built, is gaining a competitive advantage.
That's right.
So it's a key metric, as you are indicating, Scott.
And like all the other 5 metrics here, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find really successful supply chain teams that aren't tracking all 5 of these things, especially here in 2024. So really appreciate each of your explanations. And I tell you, Marcia, I admire a lot of things that you're involved with. You know, I see you putting out great content all the time. I love your infographics. That may sound simple, but man, a lot of folks are enjoying just an easy way to learn new things, all about global supply chain, global business. So how can folks connect with you, Marcia Williams, so they can continue this conversation?
I thank you so much for the comment. I really appreciate your support, Scott. They can connect through LinkedIn. I'm very active there. I post from Monday through Friday. So it's a pleasure to connect and learn other perspectives and from the audience there.
It's just that easy. And I'll tell you, with each of those knowledge shares you have, the discussions I find sometimes in the comments you're getting like a master's degree from the comments alone.
I know they do such a great job, and I love reading the comments because I have been learning so much with the post that it is unbelievable. I really enjoy that every day.
We can never stop learning every single day, every single hour. Good stuff here today. Thanks for your time, Marcia Williams. Really enjoyed this edition of Whiteboard Wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me, Scott. Thank you.
More to come. All right. So folks, hope you enjoyed this conversation with Marcia here today as much as I have. Be sure to connect with her on LinkedIn, as she mentioned. You don't want to miss all the other brilliance and knowledge she drops every day of the week, basically related to global supply chain, business, leadership, and much, much more. But now the onus is on you to take one thing from today's conversation, put it into practice, right? Take one of those metrics and do a deep dive, right? Get with your team, see how you are currently measuring in any of these areas. Take that action. It's all about deeds, not words. And hopefully you join us for the next episode of Whiteboard Wisdom, where we focus on practical, actionable expertise to change how business is done for the better. So with all that said, on behalf of the entire Supply Chain Now team, Scott Luton challenging you, do good, give forward, be the change that's needed. And we'll see you next time, right back here on Whiteboard Wisdom, part of the Supply Chain Now community.